Hi listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to Upptalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say Upptalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it. Let's investigate SAP, a well-known enterprise resource planning system, and discover its many functionalities and business applications.
System. So let us see if I'm able to create any schemas here, any objects here. Here, we want to create some table. So where is this best? So let us search for the best schema. But the system user should always be able to see any schema that he wants. Let me add the schema here. If it is not there, you can simply go to security user and you can find the user ID best. And you can go to object privileges. Now best. Let me go to my own ID. This is the system ID. But it is not open the system. Let me close all the sessions. Let me open the system ID. Let me go to object privileges. So object privileges is basically used to assign the schema. Let me search for best. So it's a bit slow. Let me try adding the schema. So while adding it, it will ask you to give what kind of privileges you want to give to system user. So let us say whatever privilege you're going to give here for the system user. So it is going to allow them to do all these activities on the schema best. So let us say if you're going to go access called execute, you'll be able to create any table view or something. And he will be able to actually do that. If you're going to only do select, he'll only be able to view the data. If you're going to give, I'm going to tell you in detail what each and every activity here does in the privilege. I'm only just assigning this. I'll be able to show you how to be at this table number. Well, now I'm going to go select. So what is this? As I know you might ask me. So this is nothing, but if I'm going to allow them to grant this access to others or not for the schema, I'm going to click on S. You're going to see the scenario also. Don't worry. But if you're going to grant it as yes, you'll be able to give this access to other users as well by yourself. There is no need for us to be user admin of all this, but we never do this actually. We always keep it as well because the access should be with us. We should not be able to give any access to other users without our knowledge. I'm going to select privilege, and what else I want to do. I want to give it to. It's a system ID. It's not a database name or a server name. So it's like in SAP, you always have system ID with 3 characters. That is called as AD. Just like in the real-time scenario, let us say if you have an AD system, you'll call it like the system IDs would be given as DB4 for development, QB4 for quality, and PB4 for your production system. So that is SID system. You're going to name your system with 3 characters in SAP. So that is that not supported grantor and grantee are identical. So it is still considering that I'm still in the this ID. So what ID? I'm still using the best ID if I'm there at the best. Let me close this session as well. Let me open the session as HANA DB systems. Now you should have it actually. Usually the system user ID should be able to see everything, but someone, as is a training server, someone might have changed the privileges that are assigned to this user. But let me give the privileges that are needed for best at least. So these are all the systems. These are all the standard roles that are assigned to best. If you can see. So whatever roles are available in the system, all roles are assigned by the admin. So the object privileges that he gets is only best initially. If you want to assign any other schema of any other person, you can do it. Let us say if I want to assign the system DB, I can do it. It's but you want to select any systems you might control. All the schema that are available. It's searching. It might take some time. So this is the system schema that is available. You want to add the system schema. You can add it, but be careful when you are giving the access to the system schema because you will be able to do anything that you would like. Let me select. I'm able to do it. So I'm now able to assign the system. So let us go to the best. So this is this is the system that you have. So let us go to the catalog here. Let us show. You have assigned this new schema here in the catalog. So always refresh it. If you want to see, I have refreshed it. And now if I go here, I should be able to see the schema called systems. I'm able to see the system. Schema is available. If you can see, expand it. See what tables are there in there. There is no table data. So now try creating some tables. Let's quickly jump on the next topics. That's how you assign other schema access to one user and another user. So for creating this schema, actually let us say I've logged into this user ID. Did I show you how to create a schema? You so select the system that you need, that you want. If you want to create a new schema, you'll get this schema by default with the same name of your user ID. But let us say if you want to create a new schema by yourself, you can always double click on here on your system. Once you double click on it or you select the system, click on this SQL editor. Open SQL console for the selector system. It will open the skill command. Simply type S. What system shall I give? Let us call. It is like go back to what you were raising with. Just click on execute and you'll be able to see you. What's wrong with this? Insufficient privilege. There is something that should be set up. I'll show you how to debug this issue. Also, let us say if it is saying that you don't have a privilege to create schema. You can also rectify it. Let me see what privileges are assigned. This is a satisfied. I should be able to create whatever schema you want. Basically, he's not allowed to do it. Let's see if the system is the system user. I'll assign that to this user later on. Let me select this and open up. Let me put the same thing. Let us try to create a new schema on the system ID. Let us see if it has allowed us to create. System user ID has the required access. So it allows you to create a new schema. Once that new schema is created, you can simply select refresh on the catalog and you'll be able to see this new schema ECC created in it. And in ECC, you can go ahead and you can create whatever views or tables that you want. It is not letting me to create any table. I don't know if I'm wrong. I'm creating the table because we don't do it. Let's see what happens. This is not the kind of virtual table. We are not creating a virtual table. We always create a table, but it should always exist. Am I doing something wrong? I don't know. But Vaka is the variable, as I know. It should take it. It is not giving me. I don't need to create any. Let me give index also. So this is not needed. Just explaining this. It should automatically allow me to create a column. Also table directly. I don't know what's going on. I'll get back to this once again. So he will be able to create any views or tables that he likes in this new schema that he has created. And as he is the owner of this schema, he will be the user. Owner of this schema because he is the one who has created this schema and he will be the owner of it. And he can assign the access of this schema to any other user and show you how he is going to do it. Let us say I'm the owner of ECC schema. Let us say there is another user ID here in the system. We go down. Let us select any random user ID. Let us take best for the instance. Let us see if you are able to assign this new schema to best himself. So how do we assign a new schema? You go to Object Privileges here. Object is nothing but your schema here. So already best has access to best. And so he's your own schema and system schema. Along with that, you can assign best with this new schema that you have created. DCC. Once you get it, select it, and you can give access to best on what actions that you can perform using this schema. Let us say you only want to restrict best with the access of executing it. Or if you want to restrict him only with the display. So, accordingly, you are going to select the privileges that he is going to get. And he will be only able to do those privileges only. He will be able to perform only those privileges only. So let us give him select. If you are going to give only select, he will not be able to execute it. He will only be able to any changes with it. If you are only going to give select, he will only be able to view it. And if you give execute, he will be able to do any changes to that table. And if you give drop, he will be able to delete the table. Drop or delete. So that is what these privileges do. I am going to discuss on that in detail. So you can assign this privilege to another user. And you can always decide what access he is going to get. As you have created the schema by default, you will have full access to that schema. You can do whatever you want. But let us say if the next person has to access this schema, so he has to definitely take this access from you or else from me as well, because I am the system admin system user. So you can always drop a request to me. But always be careful which access you are going to give. So let us say he is asking his elite schema access, so that he can create a new table or he can edit any view. So these are all views. So in views, they will have different kinds of views. Like the modelers or whoever is using HANA DB will create multiple views like calculation views or attribute views or analytical views. He might create multiple views. So the view is nothing but a graphical representation of data. So he is going to use all the table data and he is going to create some graphical information in these views, like calculation views, analytical views, and different kinds of views he is going to create. So let us say if an end user is wanting to access his lead schema or his leads views, whatever views are created by his lead. So you should always be careful. You should connect with the person. You should check with these three whether he is going to get this access or not. If he is going to get this access at all, are you going to give a data access to him or only display access to him? Based on that, you are going to alter these privileges. Or else you can ask the lead himself to give this access to the user. And trust me, whoever is handling this HANA DB and whoever is working on HANA DB will always be aware of what access he can give to his colleague or something like that, because they are very good at it. So if you have to give in a situation, you have to give. You have to be very careful. You have to check with the lead or you have to check with the owner of that schema. Basically, before assigning this access to the new user. So always these users are very limited. And mostly this NADB database is utilized by my project. Whatever project I work is by the BA modelers or BA developers. They are going to use it extensively because they need this HANA database to create these views and to use it in business intelligence application of SAP. B for many. They are going to use it more. So you are going to, in your real-time scenario also, you are going to encounter similar kinds of users who are going to get into these things. So they are going to create multiple objects here based on the requirement. So this access and all is given by giving this access to the schema to another user. Someone else wants to access this. So basically that is what a catalog does. And also, what else should I say? So I already explained to you what is a schema and what a schema is stored in what? A catalog. It contains all the schemas. Let us go with context. So basically, this is the important topic. So the catalog is our important concept here. Context and all is fine. Context and provisioning is fine, because provisioning is mostly taken care by the basis team. So what provisioning? We are not going to cover provisioning here, guys, because see provisioning what it does. So if there is a source system, let us say there is a source system which is your S/4HANA system or your BW system. What we do in provisioning is that we load this data from that source system to HANA DB. This loading of data is not done by us. It is done by the basis team. We are not going to cover it. We are only going to mostly see this catalog and security in the coming classes. We are not going to go with the provisioning part. This provisioning part is done by the basis network. So that is clear. What is he going to do? He is going to load the data from your target system to your HANA DB system. There is no remote source here. It is a trained server. But in a real-time scenario, you are going to get all these things loaded actually. So whatever systems you have, like in my organization, S4HANA and B-Rule 4, HANA is connected to HANA database. In my current project, where we are implementing the solution for the customers, the basis admin basically takes care of it, not the security. It is very clear. There is a thin line between the security admin and the basis admin here. The basis admin will be able to do all the security activities, but he is not supposed to do it. He will have access to do everything. He will have the system credentials with him. He will have everything. And he might also have the knowledge to do it. But he will not do it. He will be only focusing on creating a connection. We will call it RFC connection. That's our terminology. Remote function call connection. So basically that connection is needed to establish a connection between your HANA DB system and your target system or your source system. So once you maintain a connection between that, they will do this process called provisioning. Provisioning is nothing but importing the data from your source system to your target system. So target system is your HANA DB and source system would be as for HANA, BView for HANA or any third-party application for that reason. You cannot say that HANA DB is only allowed to import data from SP applications. You can also import data from a third-party application, and that is taken care by the basis team. What is content? So content will have packages. So what is a package? Electrically. So these are the packages that we have now. So when we create objects, so basically what happens when we create objects? We can assign these objects to these packages. And we can use these packages to transport the content of these objects from one system to another system. That means, as I said earlier, people will not allow you to create any objects directly in the quality system or production system. So how are you going to transport these objects? For that reason, SAP has provided you with this functionality of packages, where you can load the content in the packages. Basically what you do, you basically assign. Let us say, I will create a new package called security. If you want to create anything, any new package, you can just click on this. You can create on new. You can create on package. Let me create a package called so this thing will automatically get updated. I am not going to give any description. Only security is mandatory, so I am going to create. Let it do. I am going to create best as the responsible person. That is. So I have created this package called security. So what I am going to do, I am not going to show it to your way. You might get confused. But later on what I am going to do, when I create this package, I am going to add the object that they have created. These are all objects. Analytical view, calculation view, these all will come under objects only. So I will select the desired object that we are going to. That is needed to be imported from the desired system to another system. And then we can use it to move it from one system to another system. So that is the use of content. Basically, and security folder, as I have already explained to you. So what happens in security folder? This security tab at the beginning is responsible for setting all the parameters in the system. Like you have audit here, audit disable. But in the real-time scenario, what we usually do, we create an audit policy. We are not going to the system. We are not going to have where is audit admin. Best is not having any access. Let's do one thing. Let's assign this privilege to him. Understood. So it is basically asking to enable the audit parameters to change any audit parameter. It is basically asking. It is basically saying that you don't have this privilege. Audit admin privilege. These are the system privileges that you have which we are going to discuss when we are going to go into our role admin. So whenever we are creating some roles, we are going to add all these privileges into the role itself so that there is no need for you to select all these privileges one by one, going into each and every tab. Simply what you can do, you can simply select. You can simply assign a role, custom role which are going to create, not the standard roles for it by SAP. So, as you all might already know, if you have attended this basic session, so it is always not recommended to assign the standard roles which are provided by SAP. Standard roles are only provided by SAP as a reference so that you can use it as a reference and you can create your custom roles. So you should always prefer custom roles when you are implementing your security solution. Never assign any standard roles to the users. But it is a training system. That's where you're seeing that the best is assigned with all the standard roles. But as you can already see that I'm already missing some privileges which are very important for a security admin. So the basis admin has done a shoddy job here. Sorry for that. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.